Hello, everybody, once again, and welcome to another edition of the Hilchos Tefillah Awareness Shiur. My name is R Yehudah Schwartz, and once again, it's an honor and a privilege to be hosting this shiur every single week, twice a week, on the Enya of Tefillah, as we cover the gamut of the halachas of Tefillah and also the hashkafa of Tefillah. And the whole entire goal of this Tefillah shiur is to create this simple awareness that people should simply slow down their davening, daven like a mensch, not run through davening, coming to shul on time as best as they could. Of course, coming to time every single day is the best thing to do. Not running out in the middle of davening, and of course, not talking in shul. Baruch Hashem, we're now coming up on shiur number 39 of this wonderful shiur. And hopefully we'll continue this for a long time, as Hashem, and hopefully be able to keep going this for a while. So a couple of things I wanted to throw out there before we start. Of course, ktyt.org is the place to sign up for kabolos. It's a Yiddish website, and hopefully be able to. It's understandable for the most part in Lashon Kodesh as well. So what we basically do, we're trying to kabel ourselves in different areas, whether it's putting on the phones during davening, whether it's coming to on shul on time, whether it's having not talking during the Tefillah, and so on and so forth. You can always go to the website ktyt.org, and they're trying to hit 1 million kabolos, and of course there'll be one winner to win $1 million for Bais Medresh. ktyt.org. The other things I want to discuss is a couple of my shiurs that I came across over the last couple of days since our last shiur. So I was in a certain shul over Shabbos, upstate, and of course this is being recorded. This week's Parshas Devarim. Today is actually a Chodesh of, so good Chodesh everybody. But before that, this past Shabbos, I davened in the shul. Of course, they were rushing through Pesach Zimmer, which is definitely a big time no-no. They gotta slow it down a little bit to take it easy, save a single word like you're supposed to. So, of course, the shul, Baruch Hashem, is a beautiful shul, to say the least. But they went, Pesach Zimmer was fast, and they schlep it out the different parts of davening, and not only that, it's also, of course, a double parsha, 2 long parshas to learn, and not only that, the Rav is speaking, and not only that, the Baal Tefillah Musaf is Shlepiyah Musaf. So the lesson is there were some people, of course, that were getting a little antsy. It takes a long time to daven in some places, and especially this one over here was a long davening. So my advice to Rabbanim, advice to people, to Rabbanim, is to cut down the fluff. In other words, do not daven fast, of course, but also cut out the mishabeachs. If you see it's going to be a long davening, you see the tzibur is getting a little antsy, cut down the mishabeachs, make only one mishabeach and move on. This is what makes the Tosfos Yom Tov shul actually so beautiful. Actually, they're doing the one mishabeach and that's it, and they move on and they go through the length a little quick. That's how it should be done all over the place. And don't give speeches if you see it's a long davening. Don't do that. No matter what it is, appeal, no appeal. Don't do that. It's just you'll lose a crowd this way. That's one. The other thing is, as we keep saying over and over again, people need to be aware of the halachas of Pesach Zimra. People need to be aware of all the halachas of davening, which is why we give this shiur in the first place, to create this simple awareness of how we are supposed to respect the show and to restore the way davening used to be for years ago. And obviously before all the fast daveners start to daven and just run through davening. And guess what? They don't gain much whatsoever. There was a show today which I went to, and somewhere, a beautiful show, of course, and they just simply started 7:30. They granted I had to give my car today for inspection and for other things, and to give it for a few hours, and I had to run catch this meeting because otherwise I have to stay another 30 minutes, which I wasn't going to do. So I was a little too late, not so much, Baruch Hashem. already. And what happens, the bottom line is, this all of a sudden 2 minutes later is Hoidu, and 4 minutes later is Hoidu, and 7 minutes later was already Baruch already, and 5 minutes later was already Shemoneh Esrei. So basically, by 16 minutes after Tefillah started, 17 minutes after Tefillah started already, was already Shemoneh Esrei, and they finished 35 minutes from beginning of Brachas until 35 minutes. That is not acceptable whatsoever under any terms. So the bottom line is, Rabban need to take a bigger stand in this area and hopefully slow down the minyanim the way it should be and putting up schedules in their shuls. And if an event, if a shul feels the need to have a fast minyan, you should post it on the websites, post it on the boards, warning people this is a fast minyan and be aware of it. Something thrown out and something important. We're going up to now in Sif and Siman Tev Zion, Sif Gimel. In Kisa Shachar, we're going to actually finish the rest of this simon right now, and we'll do the rest of the shiur with Tefillah with meaning. Be'emtza perik ein amen like acha bichas hakel kodesh. When one's in the middle of a section, he should not respond to amen, except for after the bracha of hakel kodesh, which is in the Chazal Zashatz and Shemoneh Esrei. V'achakach bracha bichas Shemoneh Tefillah. And then the bracha Shemoneh Tefillah, b'kadosh yomer, you say Amen Shemei Rabo Baruch Omer Mayo. You should say Amen Shemei Rabo, of course, but you should not say the word Barach, even according to those customs that ordinarily say the word is part of the Shemei Rabo. See above, we'll see Moshe's in the previous Shuam and Siman Tezvav Sif Hey. Also, Mishabur has that discussion as well. When the Chazan recites the word Damin Ba'al V'Yomein, this is the conclusion of the second paragraph of the Kaddish, which begins in Yisparach V'Shtabach and so on. Yemen Gam Ken Amen, he can answer Amen. Sh'Amen Emek Shebikash Lo Yameh. However, you should not respond with Amen to any other parts of the Kaddish. And we'll see in the seed note number 8, which we discussed in the last week. His Kaddish, even one between sections, he may respond only Amen in Shmiraber and the Amen afterwards. That's about it. Let's move on. Yamagam Kemen. Oh, sorry. She'enim Mikel Kaddish. Since they're not part of the permit, I'm sorry, I skipped something here. She'enim Shebikash Layaneh. However, you should not respond with Amen with the other parts of Kaddish. She'enim Mikel Kaddish. Since they're not part of the primary Kaddish davening. Now, while I'm into Kedusha, when it comes to Kedusha, in the middle of Kedusha, regard to the response of Kedusha in the middle of a section, which is in the middle of a parak, Yishtaik, Yishma, Meshech HaTzibur, should remain silent and listen to the recitation of the Chazan. Yimah and Kol, and should recite when the Tzibur Kodesh, 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 Hashem Tzibur Christ, Lo Yechatz Kevodai, which was holy, 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 the Hashem and master of legions. The whole world is filled with his glory, and he should not recite the introductory statement of Nekash Shemcho. And this, by the way, we'll get to in a minute. Actually, when someone is up to Shemoneh Esrei, I think we'll be more mindful in a later shiur with Hashem. The way it works is when someone's up to Keren Tosfos, and the Chaz is already saying Berach Shemoneh Esrei already. The Chazos Shots, then you say Kwai Ben Kaddish or Dishach, and don't respond to that. You start with Kaddish instead. Yishtaik and remain silent. Kimmer and Kol and recite with the Tzibur. Blessed Hashem, glory Hashem in his place. But Yosef Lo Yoimar, we should not say any more of the Kedusha responses. The praise which I did not know this, by the way, myself. I'm learning for the first time this area, which is very good to know. The praise Hashem shall remain forever. The standing kedusha is taken out, as all additional praises and prayers that was decided the kedusha of Shabbos and Yom Tov. Shem'ena mikei kedusha, since they're not part of that primary kedusha recitation. If he hears Baruch Hu, whether it's from Chazan Bein in the middle of a Torah, or the bracha of the side, but once it gets called to the Torah, Oine, the answer Baruch Shem Melech and avoid. Gamain Sha'achat Brachas Oila, and he also can respond to Amen after the bracha, recite one of being called to the Torah. Now, next one is Beimik Kol Amen Moedim. The Katib is after saying Moedim that are born on. Ische Gam Kain. You should also bow down with them. And say the first words, but lawyers say not more. But here is the sound of thunder, one which is supposed to make a bracha with thunder and lightning during the summertime. Yesh amim the mutter like gam came to hafsik. Some poskim hold that it's permitted to interrupt this davening as well. Navarach make a bracha on thunder. The Magen Avraham mentions that as well. Some say that one should not interrupt the bracha according to Bechor Shor. Now we're going to discuss the hafsakos, which is motor to mafsik emtzeh perik, in the middle of a perik. Here we go. Ela hafsakos. When one interrupts his prayer to respond, shemana shemotor the hafsik emtzeh perik. In these instances, we have learned in the previous sif that one may interrupt in the tefillah in the middle of a section, or to do so, he should act as follows. In the brachos, if it's in the middle of the brachos, they come in the Shema, he must respond. He should at least arrange his tefillah, the interruption will be made. The solik in yonah, at least at the point of davening, the idea is completed, middle of an idea. That means this, one may not interrupt in the middle of a conclusion of each of the brachas. For example, the first bracha concludes with B'chat Hashem Mitzvah, and the second one, B'chat Hashem, as soon as you recite the words B'chat Hashem, any of these, he cannot interrupt at all. That means this, if it's a middle of a bracha, he cannot interrupt, period. Let's continue. In the middle of Shema, you should at least arrange the saying that the interruption will be between Pesukim. It's not possible to arrange that. It's motive for him to interrupt even with a Pasuk. And then, after reciting, should begin from the beginning of the next Pasuk. That means similarly, if he interrupted in the middle of the idea, you should go back to the beginning of the idea they interrupted. Last, Sif Hey. This is what we said that's permitted to interrupt in the middle of a section of these things that's been mentioned above, and it then does not apply the pasuk Shema Yisrael, and the pasuk of Shema Yisrael. Why? There's nothing more important than accepting the yoke of the kingdom of heaven. This way, and also by as well, because he may not interrupt between these two sentences, since Baruch Shem is also part of the declaration of unity in the name of Hashem. Because when one's in the middle of these psukim, it's a interrupt period. Even the king who were to greet him at that point, he should not interrupt his recitation to reply. Which is towards the end of Shema. Should not interrupt for any of these responses whatsoever. Why? Hashem was written in the Pasuk Yirmiyahu, Hashem Kim Emes. Hashem is, and God is true. Okay, therefore, therefore we do connect these two words just as the Navi Yirmiyahu did, and we do not interrupt between the words of Lekechem and Emes. The word Emes is understood both as the first word of the word bracha, which begins with the 16 words of affirmation, the truth of Shema, and the end, the last sentence of a Shema Hashem Kechem Emes. It's proper to take care not to interrupt. So he has said the word Yatzev as well. The fee Shigam Yatzev Hilsha Emes. Since Viviatas is emes, and therefore, and afterwards, you interrupt to respond when appropriate, just like any other tefillah in the middle of a section. And then it adds in also the shachach, din l'shaloi b'shalayim, regarding the din when one may greet another, and to reply to another's greeting. Since nowadays people do not take offense when a greeting or reply is not offered, and therefore one should not interrupt to say good morning or say hi to this anywhere in between Perakim at all. We'll stop over here. Next we're going to start Semen Yud Zayin and Pichas Kiyashma. Now, we have a few minutes left. My goal will drop over time today for this year, but I do want to get to a certain important point, and we'll conclude this year after this. We're up to Tefillah with meaning. Now, chapter 14. Avodah B'Lev, service of the heart. Tefillah is called Avodah B'Lev, service of the heart. This term is not used for any other mitzvahs. So why then is this term used for tefillah? We are not commanded to daven as we are commanded to do other mitzvahs. Avodah B'Lev means that tefillah is something we must work on, and it must come from the heart. When a person davens by simply turning pages like this, as I've seen so many times over, any place I go, he will not reach the status of coming from the heart. One who davens without feeling, simply because his father davened, will not be able to daven properly. And the word daven comes to the Aramaic word da'avon, which means our fathers. Rav Moshe Ramigo Shlita is mentioned by Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter Shlita. The Tanya says that tefillah must enable us to fight our animalistic instincts, our Yetzer Hara, and overcome them so we can pour our hearts to Hashem. But when we daven, it's not enough to just move our lips, like we've said that plenty of times. The purpose of tefillah is to achieve a tremendous kabolos to Hashem that comes from the heart. When we daven, we should think about the purpose of it all. It means that Hashem does not want us to turn pages mindlessly. We should not daven out of habit, but as a mindset that davening should be with our voice Hashem. When davening, one should not go through his needs, as if they're a laundry list that must be addressed. The goal is the closeness of Hashem that one achieves through tefillah. Constantly asking Hashem for our needs does not result in a strong connection. We should speak with Hashem because we are yearning for closeness with Him, and not only because He can provide our needs. The Derech Hashem says that Hashem's great chesed, He gives us a place to come close to Him, even though we may be steeped by darkness. By standing before Him and calling His name, we can emerge from our lowly place and come close to Him. Everything we have is from Hashem, and if we don't get what we ask for, we should daven to achieve the realization that we are standing before Hashem. He can give us what we need. Since the purpose of davening is to come close to Hashem, we must yearn to always daven properly and not think of tefillah as a burden. A child who hasn't seen his parents in a while yearns to speak with them. He kisses and hugs them when they are finally reunited. The same is true with davening. When one davens, he should be in a state of joy and happiness. He is talking to his Father, whom he loves. Every day we have the opportunity to grow in levels and becoming close to Hashem. When a child wakes up in the morning, he wants his parent to wish him a good day and good luck on his tests. Without this, he cannot start his day. When he returns in the afternoon, he yearns to speak with his parent about his day. Before going to sleep at night, he must speak again with his parent and wish him a good night. This child wishes to speak with his parents so often because he is close to them and desires to keep the connection strong. Likewise, we are a child, so to speak, who wishes to come close to his parent. However, at times we may forget the love we have for our Father. Sometimes we are so steeped in the material world that we forget we even have a Father. Only when we need something do we remember that we have a parent who can give it to us. Hashem therefore gave us this tremendous gift of tefillah so we can strengthen our connection to Him on a daily basis. We should look forward to each tefillah, and when we daven, we should also do it with joy. Spiritual sustenance. We're going to probably go a little more today. Spiritual sustenance. The opportunity to daven can be viewed as food for our soul. Just as we eat food during the day to stay alive, we daven throughout the day to make sure our souls receive spiritual sustenance. We should feel that we need to daven. It should be hard to wait for the next chance to come to shul and daven again. Some people have had the custom to daven mincha at the earliest time, so as not to delay the opportunity to speak to Hashem. When we realize that the purpose of Tefillah is to come close to Hashem and understand the special opportunity we have by davening to Him on a regular basis, the way we approach Tefillah will change. The concept of Tefillah is the opportunity to connect to Hashem is expressed in many sources. Many Swarm write this. The Zohar Kodesh says that if one recognizes that the point of Tefillah is a connection with Hashem, his tefillos will be impactful. Today, we have everything we need. This makes us more difficult to connect with Hashem. Furthermore, some people are busy seeking connections on social media. We therefore need lectures about connecting to Hashem because it does not come so easy. I think, you know what, at this point we're just going to stop for this year. I was going to go a drop further and discuss Hashem is right in front of us. I think we'll leave that for next week. With Hashem, we're going to be of this chapter. I always say that shall helfen. Then nischus, we should be zoicher to all Shparas Tovas, and let's keep it going. And then bottom line is, as we discussed today, we change the mindset of how we approach Tefillah, and we restore the way we used to daven when we were younger, more b'kavona, more milah b'milah, and especially when it comes to saying in a lower tone, just run through the words and just say the last few words word for word properly. That's to be every single word we say. And I'll end with this also. Someone who davens fast, literally, but can say also in general, can say the words fast as well out loud, especially as Sheikh Sibber, they need to test the Kriya skills to see if you can actually achieve that. Because many people today are not able to do that because simply when they were younger, they had a hard time with Kriya, and when they get older, they got acclimated and accustomed to actually just run through the words and not and miss a lot of words and miss a lot of syllables and middle stuff. And it's a big shiloh if a person is yotze tefillah this way. Have a good day.